Hi, everybody. Welcome to an incredibly adults-only, very dirty episode of Am I the Asshole? Just warning you, because I have an incredibly special guest today. She is a recent poster of nudes, stand-up comedian, longtime friend of mine. She released her album Gonzo, her stand-up album Gonzo, with her face on the front covered in what looks to be ejaculate. Ladies and gentlemen, Hot Mess Comedy Hours, Andrea Allan. Andrea, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Love that credit. Hello. Our next guest released with a face full of ejaculate.
And what was it again? It was glue?
30 Under 30, Danny. My album went #1 on iTunes. I host a podcast called the Hot Mess Comedy Hour. You're so single-minded.
Well, look, an image like that, I mean, I think about it constantly.
Yeah, everyone does. I really rock the world.
Is it glue? What did you use to simulate? Because it wasn't actually...
It was not actual cum, but it was... You know what? The inspiration for that album cover was... Are you familiar with Andrew WK?
Yeah, he's like a party guy.
Yes.
He's like famous for... Yeah.
When it comes to party, we can party hard. Okay, so he released an album cover that was called Close Calls with Brick Walls, or maybe, I can't remember the title. I think that was the title, but he has blood all over his face, like coming out of his nose. And the great like folklore around that, like, is that real blood? Is that fake blood? It looked very real. And like his album, like his people at the time kind of teased it like, we don't know. What do you think? Was it real blood? Like there was this sort of mythology that he slammed his face into a wall, then they took the picture. So that was my inspo, but with cum, you know what I mean?
I love it. It.
But it was not real cum. It was glue, milk, cream.
Huh. Wow.
Heavy cream.
Wow.
Frosting. So frosting.
It sounds good.
Yeah. I mean, it was a whole fucking chef's table. Like frosting was under the nose to be like heavier and more cakey.
Wow.
And then
this is thought out.
It was myself, the photographer's name was Mindy Tucker, and then another comic, all women, just like in in the studio, like whipping up cum, like weird science, being like, does this look strong enough? And like what's the realisticness? And like the shot that we took, the female comedian is spraying my face with a squeeze bottle with like the glue milk combo. And I look obviously like I'm in a lot of pain because she is like it's
spraying
happening.
Yeah.
My false eyelash is like falling out. Like, you know, I tried to create a masterpiece, and I think that I did.
That's incredible. I mean, it's art. I mean, I think one of the reasons we've been friends for so long and clicked is because we're both like chronically open people that are just like, oh, here's every bad thing that's happened to me that I've done. What's your name again?
Hey, nice to meet you. I fantasize about my dad dying. Like, whoa, this is a coffee shop. Yeah.
But yeah, so we were talking a little bit because you did for the first time, right? You for the first time sold nudes, which, you know, your act is very sexual, but it's, you know, it's not, you're not showing anything, or you're talking about sex. So well, you're physicalizing sex. Yeah. I guess to an extent. But yeah, what was there a switch that happened in your head that made you want to do this, or what's the deal with that?
I mean, I think that was like every sex positive woman during the pandemic had one finger on the trigger being like, when am I going to do it? You know what I mean? Because...
Yes, is that true? I believe you, but I don't know that I've gotten wind of this from anyone else.
This internal monologue. I mean, I think every like modern liberal woman has this whole like, well, if I run out of money, I can always sell my underwear. I can always like, you know, talk to some pervert and sell him my used gym socks or whatever the fuck, you know, you guys get into.
Right.
There's also this like thing where it's like, I have been sending these fire nudes. I've been working on my craft for years to like just useless assholes who leave me on red, you know, and there's kind of this like revenge for the patriarchy feeling of like, if I'm just going to be out here degrading myself constantly, like begging for attention with these pictures. At least I come out with a little bit of quiche. You know what I mean? Like,
and you posted because you made $1,500 in one day.
Yeah.
And like I think I can say that your primary selling point is your butt. You do have sort of a famous butt.
You know what's interesting though? I did a pricing, and Emily told me that I sell nudes like a used car salesman. It's like $15 you get tits, $15 you get ass.
Yeah.
Then you got the combo plat. Like there's the.
I just came here to buy tits. Now I'm walking out with a whole buy. Oh God, they always get you on the lot.
I have the guy, the guy with the arms out, the air, it's like a Gumby looking.
The air flows through the arms outside the car dealership. Yeah,
that's
nudes. Yeah. I love it.
So that's my vibe when selling nudes online. And I thought my main revenue stream was going to be ass. But it was mostly the most expensive one because you get the whole thing. But tits were way superior. You know what I realized is that like people can basically see what your ass looks like,
Yeah.
But like there's this idea of like, hey, this is this girl I know. And now I'm seeing her like like I'm seeing like her face and her tits, and like it's just like it's the curiosity I think for a lot of people. And
would it bother you if I bought your nudes?
No. And some like comedians I knew when I was like, whoa, bold, you know what I mean? But also like, thank you, but also like I always suspected. Now I definitely know you want it bad enough that you're willing to like make it known to me. Which is
because that's the thing I don't like. I got to make it known to you. I can't just pipe on your OnlyFans with my creeper account. I got to actually Venmo you. How much money for the full nude?
So $15 for one picture with tits, or $15 for one picture with ass, and then the whole kit and caboodle for $35, and that's 5 pictures. Actually, very well priced.
Wow, that's a good deal.
I know. Mm-hmm.
35?
35.
This is good because we're going to get into this more later, but I have felt like OnlyFans would be a deal breaker to me.
Like in a romantic partner?
Yes, but you know what I'm realizing? I think it's a holistic picture thing because I don't find it unattractive that you sold your nudes. I mean, for one, it just like kind of like you're very sexual already, so it doesn't feel
That's what I'm like, oh, I released the Cum album. Like, woo, this is beyond the pale.
Yeah,
like,
right. I almost feel like that's more.
Stupid.
Yeah. And like you're also a performer, so it almost just feels like part of your oeuvre.
Yeah.
Whereas,
oh my God, $5 word for being a big old hoe. I love it.
I know. I actually bought that off a girl on OnlyFans. No, the I guess what's unattractive to me is if OnlyFans is your only thing. And that's what I'm seeing. I see these girls on Twitter and I'm paying for them. But no. And and it's like, oh, well, you're just an OnlyFans girl. And that is unattractive to me.
Well,
is that legal for me to say?
No, you are canceled. I actually have been wiretapping this whole conversation and I'm sending it to the feminism FBI. No, I mean, I think like number one, like policing what people are attracted to and their preferences is like an icky thing to do. Even if your preferences are kind of like seated in perhaps, I don't know, some things that I disagree with. What am I going to do? Force you to date a sex worker? Like that's ridiculous.
Well, it's not. Is it sexist to say that I find that to be a turn? But see, I'm actually doubling back now because I'm like, it's not that it's a turn off. It's just actually not attractive if that's someone's only thing. But I would say the same thing about accounting.
Oh, what do you mean? Like because explain further.
Because I've realized, like, have I bought OnlyFans? Yes, I have, people. I will own it. I bought a handful of these fucking things, and I always get pissed. It's always a ripoff.
I got deals, baby.
Yeah, and then when I go in and I'm like, doing my business, first of all, I'm not a person. I'm the worst OnlyFans customer because I just see it. I'm like, I get it. I seen you buy. Cancel subscription.
Sure. Stingy.
Horrible. You don't want me there. But I'm not emotionally attracted to it. I just wanted to see that person naked because I saw their face on Twitter or whatever. And I was like, oh, I guess I'd pay for this for $5. But then I'm like, I'm not actually into them. I just wanted to see them naked.
It's fantasy.
It's fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my feelings, obviously, like what I said before, like women are hypersexualized in our society, and that's currently like the state of affairs. And I hope that there's a sea change. And I like the idea of sex work in the way that it is now. Like there's no pimp, there's no owning of
Right.
female bodies, but like on a larger scale, or I guess when I zoom out, one of my issues with sex work, and not people who do sex work, but sex work as like a thing, is that it puts a dollar amount, it brings capitalism into like your body. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it puts a dollar amount on you. And it's sticky. But it's also like there are trophy wives. There's this sort of like undercurrent of like financial exchange that happens in relationships sometimes as well. So I don't like it's so.
I guess what I'm confused though why you're saying that you don't like introducing capitalism into it, but nobody forced you to sell pictures of your body.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, but I'm saying like you feel a certain way about it. That could be why you feel a certain way about it, because
why I do.
Yeah.
Because okay.
Like, oh, this woman is saying that her body has monetary value, like, or is available for a certain price. I think that's like rubs people away.
I think, what it is? I think it's, for me, it's not, and I'm not saying it couldn't be, but just a lot of the time that it isn't, for me, a respectable profession, like to have an OnlyFans. Now, I believe there are people, and I know a lot of girls are really good with the nudes, and they're actually pretty kind of artsy. And I actually believe this, that that not showing anything private, but alluding to it is so much hotter. They just being like, here's my badge.
I always forget you're so puritanical.
No, but the mystery is very seductive. Like, I think I would say
that's your that's like your preference. You know what I mean?
Well, maybe. You think it's just me? I mean, I think there's.
I don't think it's just you. I think people have like varying degrees in which they, you know what I mean? Like, people have their different. Like I said to you before, policing what people are attracted to is kind of like.
Right.
Where does that end? I don't know. You can examine yourself if you feel like your attractions are problematic, but like, it's not my place to be like, you must be attracted to this type of person. I think you must respect sex work. You must be like, it's their right to do so. And I'm happy for them to like make money and have autonomy. Like, those are my hard lines, but like your feelings about that particular thing can be gray, and also like, I think being a sex worker or doing work on OnlyFans is the same thing as like any type of emotional labor type job. You know what I mean?
I was just about to go there because I actually got a fan house. What's the deal with fan house? It's like OnlyFans, but even better. Does it take less?
I didn't know
this.
That the deal? I don't know it.
I don't know. I've heard that it's better, but anyway, I got this fan house because I wanted to see this girl naked, and there was no nudes on the fan house. Instead, I was treated to probably the saddest thing I've ever seen, which was like, it was guys just paying this girl to interact with them,
right?
And honestly, almost made me like cry reflecting on it, because I was like, that's so sad.
Yeah, but that's part of it. Like, how often do you hear like guys who go to strip clubs who think these girls are their girlfriends?
Oh,
these women are actors. They are performing emotional labor. They are simulating a false relationship with you. So like, it just as if like someone at a luxury goods store gets you the cappuccino and makes you feel like this air of class. Like, it is. There's many types of labor that have this undercurrent of like fantasy to them. So that's kind of where I'm like, I don't think that is really different than so many. And like I said, there's also trophy wives. Like, these things exist in our society and are interwoven and are normal in a lot of ways. But then when it comes to like it moving into sex, we get real sticky with it.
Where you keep saying trophy wives, what do you mean when you say that? Like, I guess I think of a trophy wife as like what do you mean?
So like, the trophy wife situation is kind of like unspoken sex work, in my opinion, to be honest. Like, say you are a 60-year-old man and you are married to a woman who is like 30 plus years younger than you. And it is expected for them to look a certain way, to sort of like be at your beck and call sexually, to cook and clean for you, to be sort of like the traditional wife type, which is servitude, to be honest, to exist as a companion to you. Is that not sex work? You know?
Okay. I love this. I love this. That's a great take. I love that.
So I'm like, and that's kind of like, to me, the thing that bothers me the most, the thing that like really fucking is a bee in my bonnet always is like,
a bee in my bonnet? Yes. I don't think you could be a person who releases the stand-up come on the face album and be like, a bee on my bonnet.
I can say multitudes, Danny, okay? You know what really frosts my fucking cookies, Danny?
A bee on my bonnet. I never heard that in my entire life. What the fuck?
I went to college. I'm highly educated, okay?
I've never heard that. What is that from?
I think I probably made it up. It's not even a real phrase. I'm on mood stabilizers. Don't take anything I say seriously. You know, it's a viper in the grass. You know, it's a squirrel in my boxers. Okay, so what really bothers me is people who is like hypocrisy in our society and like labeling one thing as you know, okay, and another thing is not, when they're virtually the same thing. Like, that pisses me off. And, you know, so at a certain point, if I'm like, well, if I'm fucking constantly working out and wearing makeup and being attractive and placating men and emotional, you know what I mean? Then like, I don't know. Then if I'm doing all these things, then fucking give me 1500, baby. I don't care. Right. And also, like, you're jacking off to me anyways. You're jacking off to me for free on Instagram. I'm posting the photos in the leggings. I know what you're doing. You're all photoshopping the leggings off. You're all fucking, you know. So I'm like, pay for it. Pay for it. Yeah.
Why not?
So,
what I love what you're saying, and it almost makes the term sex work. I'm almost starting to feel the term is a little disingenuous, because sex is almost probably a relatively small part of it. It's really about, for a lot of these men, I think, you know, like you said, faking. It's about acting. It's about emotional labor. That really is probably the bulk of the time.
Yes.
That you're spending, because, you know, nobody can have sex for, you know, 2 hours.
Well, speak for yourself.
Well, okay. It starts to hurt. It starts to hurt me.
Well, it is like, so often when I used to have like one night stands back when I was a drunk, so often, and this happens now as well, but like very often when you have a one night stand, afterwards a man will be like, my dad never held me. And I'm like, what is happening? And I think because like sex is, you know, intimate, and it's a woman, so you kind of feel this like maternally type thing. Like, you feel like a safety. Women make men feel like safe and comfortable and seen.
You're right. I feel safe and seen.
Sure, yeah. We're like a fucking warm blanket that you rape and murder. But so it's like, so often I get these like shockingly honest disclosures. And I think it's because like you guys, you know, as a blank generalization, like societally, you don't have really deeper friendships. Like it's very stigmatized for you guys to like be vulnerable and open, which is sad. I think that's like kind of a shitty prison to live in. But like, this is the one window where it's like, I can say all these things. It's also like, if it's a one night stand, it's like more, it's anonymous. You know what I mean? It's like group therapy, but like you're, you know, coming. Like, what a great deal. If I was fucking afterwards, I got like 10, 15 minutes of like, you know, of cognitive behavioral therapy, I would be doing it too. But yeah, it's about self-esteem, a lot of it too. Like, oh, there's this they want to feel wanted by an attractive woman badly enough that they will pretend that it's voluntary, even though they're actively paying you to lie to them. That's how low men's self-esteem is. Is that like, and some of them, like, I sell one nude to him and he texts me every day, like, how you doing? And it's like, I never respond to you. Like, I don't even give you any.
Oh, I always see those on Twitter, just like message after message after message.
Yes. And then I'm gonna hit you up for money. I'm gonna sell you a nude, and you're gonna do it immediately. You know what I mean?
Oh,
It's
that's
sad.
so sad.
Yeah.
That's sad.
That's a deeply lonely person. And I love profiting off of it. Profiting off of loneliness is my new kink.
Why not?
Fuck love.
Not? There we go. Wow, that was a hell of an opener.
You warned them. You're like, this is about to be heady and filthy and terrifying.
I got a filthy little F for you. We're gonna start off our second story. AITA for telling my friends that a former friend and classmate of ours has an OnlyFans. But first, AITA for not telling the couple I slept with about my genetic disability.
AITA for not telling the couple I slept with about my genetic disability.
Yeah.
Does it reveal what the disability is?
Yes, I'm going to read it now.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
I should have gone over with the podcast.
That's
how it
cool.
Worked. You've done it before, so anyway. Lots been
Once again, I'm on mood stabilizers, and it's been a pandemic, so why don't you cut me some slack?
Let me first ask you all to leave your kink shaming at the door. I got enough from the first layer I talked to. This isn't lewd erotica, so I'll keep it simple. I was born with a genetic disability. You can't tell from looking at me, but it was very challenging growing up. So much so, I vowed to never have children. I bet you can see where this is going. A few years ago, I met a couple on OkCupid that were looking for a third. They swore to me up and down that the girlfriend was on birth control. Mm-hmm. We all exchange recent, clean STD results. So everyone knew that everyone else was clean, and the rest is an exercise left up to the reader. We met on and off for a few months until they went no contact. Honestly, it happens all the time with couples. No biggie. That is until I get a phone call from them back in July, demanding that I give them $5,000 for my daughter's special home because money is tight now. They muddled through some explanation of how we had an oopsie baby, and the husband doesn't have the gene if 23andMe is to be believed. So it must come from me. I told them there wasn't a chance and blocked them on my cell and social media. So now I'm getting fake one-day-old accounts posting on my wall that I'm a deadbeat dad, and some of my supposed friends have responded asking for more information. I don't plan to pay up, but I wonder if this all could have been avoided if I told them, like, hey, just in case I have this shitty recessive gene. AITA for not telling them.
This is shocking. This is actually the area in society where I feel so bad for men that like you can nut into someone and they can be like, haha, ruined your life. And there's like nothing that you can do or say about it. Some clarifying questions though. So she's pregnant and the husband doesn't have the gene, but the baby has the gene. So this is his child, right?
This is his child. Yeah.
Oh my God. They're the asshole. He's not an asshole. These people are fucking insane.
So they lied. Well, did they lie? Right? Because somebody's been telling me they're like, oh, the pill sucks. People get pregnant on the pill.
I have gotten pregnant on the pill, by the way. So
there we go. There we go.
But,
so,
go ahead.
You know, well, I mean, they are. I get why it's easy to not like them. They're kind of coming at him. And they were also irresponsible, right? Because if she was pregnant, there was a possibility immediately, if they were doing what I suspect they were doing, that he could be the father. So why? And then they opted to have the baby. So they were already kind of gambling.
Yeah. I mean, they're the assholes in that they're calling him a deadbeat dad. Like because this is like a comedy of errors type situation. He shouldn't nut into a woman if he doesn't not shouldn't, but like it's always a distinct possibility when you're making a deposit that might happen. So like, you know,
but they knew it could happen.
Right.
Do you think that he's required to disclose the disability?
Is that what they're mad about? The disability or him not wanting to pay for it?
Yeah, I guess it's both. And it seems like what their approach was, they were going to be like, well, who knows, but let's do 23andMe to find out, because they didn't reach out before.
I'm so curious as to what the
Well, no, they did
disability is.
23andMe on the husband to make sure that he didn't have the genetic disability. So yeah, so they were basically like, now we know. We didn't care otherwise. We were just going to let it lay and just assume this was our kid.
Yeah.
But now they know it's his kid because of the 23andMe.
This is so complicated. I think he's an asshole if he doesn't pay child support because...
Really?
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. Like, you fucking you nut, and that's just, what obviously, like,
well,
they're...
two people nutted.
I know, but like...
Not just him.
Right.
It was a co-nut.
A prorated child support. He splits it.
I think a split is honestly kind of fair.
I mean, yeah, but the not disclosing the disability, I don't think is.
I feel like that's not the sin here. Yeah,
no, I don't
feel
think
like
so.
That's kind of fine. I mean, it's kind of messed up that. Well, I don't know, because it does seem like. Look, if you're going to have unprotected sex with someone, you kind of have to have. I have the conversation like, hey, what would happen?
Yes, for sure, yeah. But to me, yeah. A threesome is not where I think that someone's keeping it, though. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, that's not where I think someone's keeping it. But
it seems like he would have assumed that.
Yeah, I would assume that.
Threesome.
Yeah, I would assume
it's
that.
A reasonable assumption.
Yeah.
And you're kind of are you into kink culture at all?
Am I into kink? Look, I released the fucking cum face album. I'm full
all right,
in.
Look, I'm just gonna come out and say it. I saw you on Field, the threesome app, and I hearted you.
Yeah, I deleted it because I was taking a break, but okay. I appreciate you.
I don't have to feel personally rejected.
That's so funny. Yeah. I mean, you've wanted to fuck me since way back, but we'll leave
I know
that.
why. Don't embarrass me in front of my listeners.
I mean, yeah, threesome. I would never assume that someone who is having a threesome with their partner would keep the baby. I think that's like societally unaccepted truth. And also, yeah. So then, not disclosing the disability, I think, is totally fine. What do you like? I have a heart murmur. Like, what do we talk? We're all fucking sucking.
So you would have the conversation with a partner of like, okay, if you have a baby, we'll obviously have an abortion. You're never going to have that conversation per the conventions of kink.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
A threesome. You're not going to be like, what are you going to do? No, it's just like, yeah, that's kind of a running assumption. Well, in that case, then I find very little wrong with what OP did, because if that's kind of the culture and the way it works.
The child support, I think he should do. I think.
But if that's the culture and that's the assumption.
This is like the 1% situation, but I do think that if you're, it's hard because she said she was on birth control. That's where you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you were straight up raw dogging and like, you were pretty assured that was not.
Raw dogging on birth control. You're telling me there's a convention.
Yeah, no, I know.
He has to pay child support. And then no contact, no involvement in the birth process, nothing. They went no contact with him.
Yeah. Ooh, this is tough. I mean, I would feel a moral obligation to pay child support just because it's like a human life that I contributed to. But these people suck. There's no denying that. But I would still want to pay child support. So I could feel good. So I could feel good about myself.
Yeah.
So
you think, what if he doesn't pay child support, would you say he's the asshole?
Yeah.
That just seems so wrong, though.
It does seem so wrong.
Because listen, if you're paying child support, normally the premise is you impregnated a woman.
Yeah.
You're not with her.
Yeah.
And now she needs help. Mm-hmm. This woman doesn't need help. She has a partner. The partner's been there. The partner was there. He was there for the impregnation.
Yeah, he was blessing it like a doula.
Like a doula.
I don't know though. Well, I guess my question. So they went no contact too. They're kind of like, all right, I amend it. He should pay child support if he wants to be in this kid's life.
I don't
Do you
think
know
he
what I mean?
does. He says he doesn't want to be. He says he doesn't want to pay. Did he say that? I thought he said that.
I'm dying to know what the fucking genetic disorder is.
I know.
Too.
What would this even be?
Like, I was gonna go like autism, maybe, but it's like I wouldn't he
No, he says you wouldn't
disclose
be able to see
you wouldn't be able
it.
to see. Yeah, I'm just like dying to know that. But I think that, okay, yeah, if he wants to be involved in the child's life, like he wants to have some part in rearing it, then he should be actively like paying in every way, paying monetarily and also like spending time, those types of things. But if they're just like boxing him out in every
Right.
way, and they took away his consent in a sense when they were, God, this is like a threesome nightmare.
This is about as bad as it can go. I'm trying to
Yeah.
see if I can find. Somebody said this thing that I actually read a book about called Fatal Familial Insomnia.
Jesus Christ.
But that's insanely rare. It's like one of the most rare diseases.
Like you die from insomnia?
It's honestly one of the worst ways to die. It's called a prion. It's not even a virus. It's like a corrupt protein, basically.
Oh my God.
And yeah, you just basically stop being able to fall asleep, but your mind leaves you at the same time. So it's not as torturous as it sounds. I'm sure it's not pleasant, but your mind fades right when you stop sleeping. Your mind is kind of gone.
Dude,
already.
there's so many like diseases in the world that are so top shelf horrifying that we like don't even know about. And then you read about it and you're like, oh my God.
I know.
It's
health is a blessing.
Health is wealth. I don't know. Yeah, I think this is like, these people sound shitty, but yeah, I stand by. If you want to be in this child's life, you have to pay as well as be involved. But if they're boxing you out just for cash, it seems pretty cold-blooded.
Somebody said Huntington's or Factor V lead-in.
Huntington's. There's also like I don't know.
Well, I'm not really sure where we stand on this. AITA for not telling the couple I slept with about my genetic disability. We agree that's not the crime. So taking the title very literally, then it would be not the asshole.
Yeah,
they are. But more broadly, is he the asshole for not paying child support? I kind of feel like this is a freak situation. I feel like this is not what child support was made up for.
Yeah, you know what though? Maybe. Okay, now I'm thinking about it. I still think these people are fucked up, but I wonder if they want additional support because this child is going to has the disease.
And he was doing it raw. He was operating under the assumption, but it is kind of his problem. And because that also is kind of the assumption of sex anyway. If you impregnate someone, that's your problem.
Right. Because
I think I'm ready.
Because then now money from two sources might be required.
Yeah, because this is a genetic disease. I actually am ready to say that if he doesn't pay child support, it's everyone sucks here.
Yeah. This is a fucking God. I got to get off field. Jesus.
Yeah, you got to stop doing this.
Like, you got to stop living this way, Andrea. We're not even recording right now. This is a cautionary tale.
Yeah. All right, so we agree. AITA for not telling the couple I slept with about my genetic disability. We're saying on the literal version, not the asshole, but without child support, that's an ESH. AITA for telling my friends that a former friend and classmate of ours has an OnlyFans. I was browsing one of the kink-related, mildly not safe for work subs here on Reddit and saw a familiar face, former high school classmate of mine that also briefly dated one of my friends, Mark. She wasn't nude in her post, but she was also advertising her OnlyFans. And naturally, I clicked that shit. I didn't subscribe, but it was easy to figure out. She poses as a dom and posts related content. Jackpot, I thought. A prime opportunity to give Mark a good ribbing and have a laugh. And that's precisely what we did. I posted the link in our group chat, 5 guys I kept in touch with since high school ended, and we all ended up poking some good-natured fun at our friend. In the process, however, we did say some unsavory things about her as the discussion evolved. Apparently, word got out after the discussion, and pretty much our entire former class found out. I think I have an idea of how. One of my friends is now married to his high school sweetheart, and they've kept in touch with more people, but not much I can do about it. And since the entire class found out, she found out. She called me the other day telling me to go fuck myself for outing her. like that. I told her that it wasn't my intention and that normally I'd apologize, but since she told me to go fuck myself, she can forget it and I don't feel bad in the slightest. And then she said I did it on purpose because I hate women or some shit, and threw these unsavory things we said in the group chat in my face. No idea who shared the convo with her, but whatever. I apologized for participating in that discussion, but I told her she only has herself to blame for the outing. I maintained that it was on her and not on me. And even if it was on me, I did nothing wrong. I shared a public profile that she knowingly created, fully aware of the risks. She called me some names, saying I'm a loser for finding her profile in the first place, and that because of me, her parents now found out before she could tell them, which I guess was a fair point. We live in a very conservative culture. I told her I feel sorry for her parents and to apologize to them on my behalf, but that I had nothing more to say to her. She started threatening about telling my own parents and my girlfriend that I'm into the kind of content she creates. But I hung up. Imagine what kind of shame is in this relationship where she doesn't even know. But I hung up on her before she could finish. I blocked her, of course, after AITA.
I hate this guy. I hate this guy deeply.
Okay, so it's a grave sin if you find someone's OnlyFans and tell someone else about it.
Well, it's kind of like along the lines of like revenge porn type behavior is what this is. You know what I mean? It is
revenge porn where someone without your consent posts.
Okay,
I mean, okay, go ahead.
We exist, as you mentioned, we exist in a conservative, generally speaking, not amongst us coastal elite freaks who are selling our nudes out in the open. You know what I mean?
The enlightened few.
Yes. Amongst us Buddhas over here, the rest of you fucking Christian scumbags in the middle of the country, this type of thing can really damage, your social standing. Like you said, her parents heard about it. Like it has what you're doing by telling people. Like you're using this to laugh at her. You're not like casually talking about it. You're mocking her for it, and you're damaging, like, she's trying to do this. Also, another thing is like some women do OnlyFans because they really like have had no money. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a reason why OnlyFans happened in the pandemics. People didn't have fucking jobs. So she's trying to fucking like put that together. People are losing their jobs. Like this is, I mean, Doug Stanhope has a great bit about this, about like prostitutes must hate it when the economies collapse because then like the lay person goes down to being a sex worker. But like, we don't know her reason for starting an OnlyFans. So for you to like take this thing that she's trying to do, maybe as privately as one can, like, you can't be completely private, but like OnlyFans does have an anonymousness for your side and for hers. So like keep your fucking mouth shut if you're on that website. You get to enjoy nice things. Then you don't get to turn around and fucking show everyone in her life. It's also a revenge porny in that it's like an ex and all the guys are being like, oh, look, you dated this whore. Do you know what I mean? It's okay. It's just,
I don't really like comparing to revenge porn. I feel like that's going too far. But yes, it is vindictive and it's vengeful. I'll give you that.
They're using it to laugh at her. Like, what did this woman do to you?
No, the discussion is fucked up. And we know he had the discussion. I guess my question for you is, because I want to internalize this, if I run into an OnlyFans or a porn, I ran into a porn of someone I knew in high school. She did a just a one-time porn thing. It's pretty crazy that I ran into it because there's so much porn out there.
Sure.
And it's not like I watch that much. 4 or 5 hours a day. Right. No. But yeah, so I should, if this were to ever happen again, it would be wrong of me to tell people that are in our.
This is why we can't have nice things, you fucking snitches. You don't get to like jerk off to the nasty thing and then also be like, what a nasty whore. Like you're there.
But I'm not saying in a mean-spirited way. It's just, I think there is a confusion here. So help me understand, because it's a public profile.
Right.
You do want customers. So you want attention. That's why you're posting on Reddit. That's why you're posting on Twitter.
You don't want attention. You want money. This is a job. Again, this is where you're confusing it.
Well,
you're you want attention. No, I want money. This is my job.
I guess you're right, because you're right. I get it now, because you are bringing attention to them, but not money, because probably no one from high school is going to pay. Or if they pay, they'd be shitty customers.
Right.
So you're bringing negative attention that they don't want. You're bringing personal attention, and that's why it's wrong to share a public video, a public profile. Okay, I'm
it's
getting
up
it.
to her. Like, and also, like I said, I'm a very public person, but like I have to reconcile with the reality that like I posted that I was selling nudes on Instagram. My parents could see that. Luckily, they've already sent me out in the wild and they don't give a fuck. But like, and OnlyFans is a little bit more anonymous. Like it's like I'm here to make money. I'm
right. Well, you posted on Insta, so if I post someone's Insta, that's fair game.
Yeah, because I'm being like, hey, I'm okay with the level of publicness this is. I'm telling you I'm okay with how public this is. I know OnlyFans is like a website, but it's still like if she's using a pseudonym or whatever, like
you're right.
She's trying to fucking get some quiche. Like she's trying to get quiche off. Also being like, I don't give a fuck. I don't have to apologize to you. It's like that is whether or not it's like libertarian behavior where it's like, okay, on a technical level. And it's like, once you start saying like on a technical level, everyone hates you. You're a bad hang. No one wants to fucking, just because you're technically right and you debate, like you're still a shitty dude.
You're helping me empathize and see more OnlyFans as a different thing, which is like a move of desperation, and I'm sure it is a lot.
Not always, but that is part of it.
Not always. Yeah, of course. Well, now when I'm thinking, when I see these girls on Twitter, I'm like, this is an OnlyFans girl, she's just posting nudes, and I'm going to just think of it a little differently because it's like you don't know what that is. Like I don't know what that's made of.
I have a friend who lost 2 of her businesses due to COVID and was like, fuck it, I'm going on OnlyFans,
Right.
And also like, there's also some women who are like, hey, I work a shitty fucking job that I hate. Right. I can go on there and barely post nudes and like talk to some dude and make a fuck ton of money. And a lot of like men are there's this criticism towards women like owning their beauty or owning their sexuality or like exploiting your desire. And I think that's where like a lot of the anger comes towards like, you're just going to go out there and admit, that you're hot and be like, haha, losers, give me money. That pisses me off. But how about in a broader sense, why don't you look at, we live in a society where I can con you like this and you're so fucking sad that you will pay for it. Like, I don't know. It's, the thing that pisses me off when people get mad at like women who openly admit they like attention or openly admit that they're attractive is like our entire world from being little girls, we're constantly being told that like beauty and sexual power is like one of the most important things about us as human beings. So you don't want us to acknowledge that? Like, that's crazy.
I had a watershed moment on this when I worked at an all-female company, and they had, 95% of the workers were, and they had a quote from Mean Girls in neon on the wall, and it said, "So you agree, you think you're really pretty."
Yes.
And I was like, that's wrong, right? Because that's not funny. Because what it should say is, so we agree, you think you're really pretty, which is funny because it's like saying like, you think that, I think you're ugly.
Sure.
Because that's man humor. But like, and then I was explained this norm that you can't acknowledge you're a hot girl if you're a hot girl.
Which is crazy.
Seems to be changing a little bit, but go ahead.
Crazy in a society where you're constantly being sold products to be more attractive. You're constantly being like having diets shoved down your throat. So like, again, to my point earlier of like people being like, no, this isn't real. You should be modest. Also, at the same time, here's whores on liquor bottles, and here's selling vacation with women's tits, and here's here's every time a woman posts an attractive photo, likes. You know what I mean? It's like, so you can't just admit this is happening. You have to go like, oh, I'm just so beautiful, but I don't know it, and I don't want to gain anything from it. I'm a holy, sweet, pure girl. Get out of town. We live in a shithole. Like, we live in this shithole fucking world. Get out of town. You're out to lunch.
No, not that voice. The sweet pure.
Yeah, because you like it. Because you're like, you're sick. You want to like jerk off on a nun's face, and then
my God,
I don't know what you do too.
You don't even know what's happened to me in the Catholic Church.
Yeah. So, well, no, it shows.
I'm terrified of it. No, look, there's no such thing as a nun under 50 years old. First of all, you're just instantly 50.
Yeah,
I mean,
MILF porn is exciting too.
I mean, have you seen a nun? Give me a break. Look, I think we agree on this one. This is good though. I learned because like
Good.
I would not do this because I wouldn't kink shame and I wouldn't shame it.
Yeah.
But I would share it. I haven't, but I can see myself doing this. So now I know you don't out an OnlyFans. I get it.
Here's my addendum. If I send someone nudes, I fully expect them to show it to their friends. You know what I mean? I don't expect them, like, there's lines with this stuff, but like, I just think it's a smart thing as a person to assume that your nudes are being shown just because of the nature of how people are. If someone showed my nudes to someone I knew as like this whore, I would be upset by it. But like, I assume like if I'm like seeing a guy on a dating app or like something like that, I would assume that they're like, well, check out how hot this, you know what I mean? Like a real quick phone turn. I think that's
okay. A quick phone turn is legal.
Yeah, a group chat, now you're gross. But like, I do think just like in the way that like I'm posting that I'm selling nudes, it's like when you're putting the photo out there and saying that you're open to these types of things, you have to like deal with the reality that like you're opening up a door a little bit. I think people should behave themselves, but I also live in reality, you know?
I mean, I would say that's a little too lenient for me. Like if you were dating a guy seriously, I would hope that you would have an expectation that he would not show your nudes. Cause like I wouldn't do that. You know, I think that's fucked up.
Do you think girls don't show other girls your nudes?
I don't send dick pics. I've sent one dick pic. I think I've sent one dick pic in my entire life. It was specifically requested.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're just not playing in the same sandbox. Yeah, sure. I love getting dick pics. I love videos of dudes jacking off. Like I'm in.
Really?
Yes. Love it. Oh my God.
Wow.
Especially like if you can hear their voice in it type thing. Like, they're like specifically doing it for you. I guess it's just like I also live in this like lawless pig culture. Wow. Like anything goes, you know.
Pig culture. You know, it's funny. I was messaging someone recently, and they were like, "Oh, I thought you were going to send a dick pic." I was like, "Who do you think I am?" But it's just so often that these guys just send dick pics. I would never do that.
Ask before you send it, but like,
I would never. I have no desire.
Never send a dick pic.
If someone really asked, and then they're like, "Please send me a dick pic," then I'd be like, "Okay." But
let me put my glasses on and get my tripod.
Look, I've seen. Yeah, I would. I really would. I would. Let me tell you, I would color correct that.
I know you would.
But I guess look, I've seen porn, and my dick's fine, but it's not. It's just not.
Do you sext?
It's fine. Oh yeah, no, I'm a masterful sexter. I can paint a picture.
I'm sure you can. Yeah.
It's just the word "come," copy and paste it.
Sure. It's my album cover.
Yeah, look at this. Look at my friend.
Slut I know. I'm a feminine. I'm an ally.
I'm an ally.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not that precious about like public nudity or but that's also.
I haven't heard another woman say what you're saying, so now I'm wondering how prevalent that is. Because I thought dick pics are more a bane on our existence. I haven't heard another woman say I like dick pics, so I'm very intrigued at this notion.
Really, so many women I know like them from a person that they're like having a relationship with. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Especially in the beginning where everything's like real fucking horny and things are escalating. Like, yeah, it's definitely exciting.
So can I send you a dick pic? You think that's a good move? Is that a strong move?
Yeah,
that's a good move, huh?
Oh yeah. I have one dude that sends me like jack off videos that are like, this is gorgeous. And like, I'm already thinking like to those videos. I don't watch porn. Ever.
You masturbate to?
I masturbate to the videos. Wow. I read over the sex. I try to be like sexual in the like with the person that I'm actually having sexual relationship with. Not that I have no
good
problem with porn, but
What I would do now, I'm thinking of how I would strategize this. I would order, or I would get like you know how there's those small bananas? I would get a small banana so that it looked like it was bigger than a banana. That's the kind of, I think I'm too vain. I think that's what it is. Like I have a very,
You're control. You love control. You're a person who likes things to be in control. Releasing
Andrea,
a picture of your dick out into the world.
Well, my dick is fine though. That's the thing. I have an average dick.
Can we isolate this? You said your dick is fine multiple times. My dick is
fine.
My dick is fine.
No, it's fine. Like it's just fine, but it's not particularly great. You know, it's very average. I know how to operate it, but like. That's, I think, what it is. I'm self-conscious. I'm like, you're not going to be impressed with this thing. I've seen the dicks in the porn. Those are dicks.
No, but women, it's not about that, though. Women
it's
are
not about that.
It's not about that. They already know what the dick looks like. Do you know what I mean?
You're right.
It's about you're attracted to, and I'm not saying that every woman likes this. I'm saying like, oh, you're attracted to me, and like you're showing me part of your body. You know, we're sexting. Like it's this sort of like chemistry between the two of us. I mean, if you got a micro, that might feel a little riskier.
No, it's not a micro. It's not a micro.
I'm not saying that.
It's not a micro. It's not a micro. It's not a micro.
It's not a micro. But honestly, if you ask permission to send a dick pic and you have a micro, it's actually not micro, but maybe on the smaller size.
Yeah.
It actually is kind of a relief because then the woman knows.
Yes.
Like then we can go into hooking up and it's not going to be this like reveal where we have to be like, oh,
look at him. He's a good boy. Hello.
Speaking of emotional labor and acting, the amount of Oscars I deserve for being like, yeah, it's fine.
Have you had a micro?
Yes, of course I have.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was very rare.
Not like a button size, but I've seen like 1 or 2 inches where I'm like, you know.
Oh no.
And here's the problem. Okay, this is
2 inches is small. I'm just kidding.
I'm a size queen. But like there's this situation where obviously you have a smaller dick. And that's not what's awkward about the situation. Almost always small dick dudes will go, it's not that small, right? Like they'll make you co-sign in the delusion that it's not that small. And it's like, what? We both see it, man. What are you doing? What are we doing? So now I have to, my voice is going 17 octaves. Like, no, it's cringe.
Oh no, that's so cringy.
But like, if you're a small dick dude, just be like, yeah, I know how to eat pussy. Do you want a sandwich?
Yeah.
I give great back massages.
Yeah. Well, we've gone on a fun off track here, but we actually agree on this. AITA for telling friends that a former friend, a classmate of ours, has an OnlyFans, and I learned the lesson: you don't share a public OnlyFans. Shut up about it. We agree. Big YTA. Thought we'd wrap up on a fun one. Speaking of sad dudes,
I murdered the wife of my child.
No, it's not dark. Well, it might be darker than that. I think I'd be more comfortable with the guy who murdered his wife and child than this individual.
Christ. Okay.
AITA for telling my friend I don't want his companion doll living with us.
Is this you, Danny?
This is me. I've got, where is she? Where are you, Veronica? I'm 23F. My friend 24M lost his job a few months ago and he can't afford the rent where he lives anymore. Okay. He can afford to pay a quarter of my rent though, so I offered for him to move in. A few years ago, his grandfather died and he got a good sum of money he's mostly worked through now. He bought a companion doll with this money. It's a realistic sex doll, but he talks to her and takes her around. I can't even look at you while I read this. It takes her around places in a wheelchair. I'm not making this up. You can look up if these exist. I swear they're real and they link to documentaries. I try not to judge him, especially as a girl who has rejected him in the past. I don't want it.
This guy's going to kill you.
I don't want it moving in with us. It's not that he thinks it's real. I don't know that if I'm being unfair, but I'm uncomfortable with the entire concept, especially since it requires special place and accommodation, setting up for it at dinner, space for its wheelchair, etc. He says that him and the doll are a package deal, and me being prudish is a stupid reason to stifle his happiness. He also says it's very expensive, so he can't just throw it out, and nobody will really buy a secondhand companion doll. He also accused me of being jealous of it. I admit that my main reason is just being really uncomfortable with this doll conceptually, even though it isn't hurting anyone. And it's more important that he has a place to live than me being comfortable. I still don't want to live with it, though. AITA.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I want to watch one of these documentaries.
Dude,
I've got to see who these guys are.
The fact that it's called companion doll completely reiterates everything that I've been saying about men being so deeply sad.
A sex doll is like not that sad, but a companion doll that you push in a wheelchair, it's so much sadder.
It's crazy. This is crazy. Honestly, it's like hard to shock me. This is shocking. Number one, this woman needs to be in therapy immediately, and this man needs to be locked up. Like, both the fact that she's even like thinking about like, well, I don't want to be approved. Why are you? No, like,
yeah,
this is a sick person.
This is sick.
Go ahead.
That's what I bolded here. She writes, "It isn't hurting anyone." Like, really? I can name someone. It's hurting him.
Yes.
Like, this is not healthy behavior.
Yeah, this is like enabling someone's heroin addiction. I mean, they're both. This guy's like, not well. But the fact that she's like, well, I gotta, what am I gonna do? Leave him on the street? Yeah. Leave him on the streets, and he can sleep on the companion doll as like an air mattress.
For a quarter of the rent, too? It's like he's not even paying half.
Yeah. No, and like the fact that he's coming at her, he's calling her a prude. He has the balls to have, like, make a character assassination on her when he fucking...
And a prude is the wrong word. I don't think this has to do with prudishness.
No. This guy's also like, she feels guilty. Like she said, this guy's incel material is what this is. Like the fact that she feels guilty because she's rejected him in the past. To me, that reads like, he goes like, I'm a nice guy and women don't even want nice guys. I have to have a doll in a wheelchair. Like, yo. Yeah. She feels threatened by this guy easily. How could you not? And
this is so uncomfortable.
And she's doing mental gymnastics about like the morality of this. Cut him loose, honey. Not only like...
Wow, you're right. I didn't have all these thoughts that she was so fucked up, but you're right. There's a lot of baggage on her part here, too. She's not an asshole at all.
No, she's not an asshole.
It's not healthy for her to have this reaction.
For her to even consider this for a second is batshit insane. Like, I have friends who have, like, boyfriends who, like, move in with them and live rent-free. And so often the conversation is like... well, like, he's just having a blah, 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 and he's getting on his feet or whatever. And then eventually they get sick of it. And they're like, well, why is this always happening? I'm like, because they know you're going to let them get away with it. Like,
your prey.
Yeah, exactly. So stop enabling this bizarro behavior and, like, fucking have some a doll in a wheelchair. God damn.
Honestly, just having a sex doll and like showing it or not being discreet about it, I'd be like, that's a massive roommate red flag. I'd just be like,
that's a human red flag. That's a human red flag. I know. I want you on an FBI most wanted list. You fucking have it at the dinner table with you?
No.
Serial killer shit.
It's crazy.
I was thinking about letting this killer move into my house, but I don't know. Is it like...
I rejected him. He's in a bad mood.
Yeah. Wild shit.
He wants to store his axes and chainsaws. They take up a lot of space.
Yeah, and he lost his job. And also, like, this guy was inherited money and blew through it. That's another thing.
Blew through it with his companion. Where did they go?
He took his companion doll to fucking
Six Flags.
Yeah. Took a photo. Went to the apple dunking thing with his companion doll. This guy's fucking... Jesus
This guy's a maniac. I don't even know if this is assholes, though. I feel like these people just...
Yeah. Well,
is he an asshole for having a companion doll? It's something else. It goes into something else.
Yeah.
It's so pathetic.
It
doesn't even have... I agree that there's an incel kind of flavor to it, but it's almost like it's so far gone that you're just like, good Lord, man.
It's like sinister. There's something very sinister about him because he is like pressuring her and like feeling a right to her space with this crazy demand. But like,
I could give him the asshole for that. I'm on board for that.
I mean, anyone, honestly, like anyone who anyone who asks to move into someone's place at a lower rate and is anything but like gracious, you know what I mean? Like if I fell on hard times and I asked a friend to move in with them, I would be like cleaning it all the time, going to get groceries. You know, I've had friends move in with me between jobs for like a month or so, and it was like no skin off my back, but they were like, you know, they ended up actually like sending me some money that they could and like keeping the place clean and being like so apologetic. And I was just like, no, this is what friends really are for. But like to think that you can move in for less and then have an attitude, much less an attitude about a fake human that you fuck is literally insane.
Literally insane.
Yeah. But both these people are literally insane. Yeah.
Well, they need some work, both of them. But
Better
I think we agree though. The way he's pressuring her is fucked up. AITA for telling my friend I don't want his companion living with us. I'd say not the asshole, and he is ultimately. He's profoundly sick as well.
Yeah.
Andrea, this has been a wild ride. I don't think I've laughed this hard or talked this much or insisted that my dick was fine this much in forever.
I feel like that's our whole relationship. We laugh, we cry. You insist you have a fine dick. And I'm, you know, like, hey, I'm a big whore. Listen to me yell. It's beautiful.
I got to chew on this dick pic thing, though. This is really interesting. I didn't know any woman was into it. I thought really the dick pics were raining on women, unsolicited dick pics, and it was like ubiquitously bad. I did not know it was a desired thing for literally anyone. I just don't think I've run into that.
That's so crazy. I mean, I think, I think the unsolicited, like I get some shit on Instagram where I'm like, number one, you should go to a medical professional because there's something like wrong with that dick.
Oh no.
Like the color is gray, like ugh.
Gray.
Yeah, I've gotten a few gray ones where I'm like, okay, Gandalf.
He's sick. The boy is sick.
Yeah. But no, it's definitely like it's to me sexting, and because everything's digital now, this has become an extension of sex. Is this sending of nudes and sexting?
Yeah.
So if you send me like a good dick pic, I'm like, oh, you thought about this and you're thinking about me. It's not so much the image of the dick, it's the fact that you're thinking about me and creating a sexual image for me.
Oh, okay. So then I don't need to be so self-conscious about
it's
what I got.
No.
It's more like you're seeing that I'm aroused. Obviously, you send a hard dick. You're not going to send a flaccid boy down there.
No, God.
Look at him.
Yeah.
He's hanging out.
Hey, look what you have to look forward to.
Yeah, he doesn't rise anymore because I drank 8 sodas a day. All right. Well, tell these people anything you want to promote. It's been really fun to have you.
Yes, I missed you. I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad the panini has treated you relatively all right.
Ooh, triple breakup. That's a hat trick. God, right.
I always forget you're also crazy. Like you wear nice glasses and like cute little cardigans, but
now I'm like a runner, so it's gotten less likable with time.
Yeah,
it's
sure.
Like the whole thing.
I'm on the Peloton. I get it.
There you go.
We're all trying to, not die. But okay, so I host a podcast called the Hot Mess Comedy Hour, which you have been a multiple return guest on. Big
Love
fan.
It.
And also I have in the future another podcast, a sex podcast. I'll give the name. The name is going to be Dog Pig. So get into it. So if you enjoyed my sexual takes, just keep your eye on me. Follow me at Andrea Comedy 69 on Instagram. Buy my nudes.
35 for 5. 35 it's not a bad deal.
It's a great fucking deal.
If you're interested, people, I would say that's a good deal. I would say spring for that. They're well done photos.
Oh, the best of the best. I went to design school.
Now wait, can I? So say I go in on this. Mm-hmm. Can I share those with my boys, or that's like stealing?
You can share that. I'm fine with you. Again, you're talking about me. Like it's a situational thing because I post my half naked body all over social media constantly. So I'm like, you could be pulling up my Instagram and showing your boys. I don't know if you and Lucas want to get it half and half. Do like a, Me,
Lucas and Ronnie will split it 3 ways. Who's got $12? Lucas like, I can't. All right, we'll get Lucas's half. Fuck it.
Go for it. Make a day of it. You guys can all jerk each other off. It's beautiful. It'll make me feel closer to you.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
I'm gonna print it out and put it on a companion doll.
Oh my god! Someone 3D prints me as a companion doll.
No,
Oh,
no,
you know that's happening.
it's gonna happen for
Yeah.
you. That's when you know you made it, when you have a companion doll. All right, guys,
My
that's
next
the app.
album is coming out. Companion doll.
Companion doll. I love that. It's so funny. Andrea, you're a gem and a half, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.